Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crate Expectations. I'm here with my co host, Unprepared Sarah. How are you today, Sarah?
How am I unprepared?
You are actually very prepared. You did a great job in territory battles this week. I'm not saying that you actually did the assault, the attacks well. I don't. I didn't pay attention to that, but you, as the territory battle leader, I thought you did a really good job preparing our guild, and I wanted to give you credit by insulting you.
I don't know whether to argue with you or say thank you.
I know. I love the consternation that's going on right now.
Oh man. Yeah, territory battles.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. We'll talk about that more in a minute. So,
Hmm.
guys, and if you haven't watched the show before, then you won't know probably, unless all your friends just told you all about it. They were like, "Oh my gosh, you have to watch the Create Expectations show. It's so good." And this is what happens. And what your friends would tell you excitedly would be that half of the show is on my channel here, as you are currently discovering, and the other half which you'll discover in roughly half an hour, is on Sarah's channel, and you can find the link to that video if you get bored on this one, or if you just don't want to wait to the very end. If you want to go there, video description, there will be a link to her side, to her half of it, and if you want to wait to the very end, I just make it easy for you, and you can just hit a button that takes you directly to it.
Yeah,
So remember to like and subscribe and everything on both channels, please. It helps us immensely.
correct. And then we can carry on.
We can, yeah, keep on keeping on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that being said, Sarah, what are we talking about today? What are we doing? What adventures are afoot?
Oh. There's not a whole lot this week because CG is basically on holiday mode now, and territory battles has ended. Um, the Afra event is in game now. It's
You
live.
sound so disinterested.
There's just
You,
not a whole lot going on.
there's a lot going on.
No, there's Grand Arena right now.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I mean, Territory Wars is I
Eh,
have the two easiest Territory Wars ever, actually.
right now?
Right, yeah.
No.
Yeah, as opposed to being extremely conflicted last time. This time it's on my alt, the our mutual guild. I'm getting slaughtered. Like it's where the punishment or where the make good
Yeah.
match for one of the gauntlet guilds who just like it's just funny because I got to attack my friend Tassinix, and Arsenal. Like I get to attack, like take out my friends who I'm facing in GAC. Like they're in the like they're
Yeah.
a top level guild, top level players, and we're facing them on this alt guild. Which the alt guild isn't like pathetic and small, but
Mm-mm.
it's still not it's not no, anywhere approaching a gauntlet level competitive guild.
No, we're not. I mean, we flew pretty close to the sun. We won four in a row, so this is
Uh,
our
we accomplished quite a bit actually. I've been very impressed with ODB. So no, no shade, but we were from the start to finish going to get kicked in the nuts repeatedly in this fight. Like, and the best thing is just to not pay attention, just to wander off and not have to play and participate. So
Mhm.
naturally, I did 3 attacks and killed 3 of my friends' teams and moved right on.
Yeah, I think I went in earlier and I was like, all right, I'll do two things here and then I'll see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
um, and then the other one is they just put down like they put every single galactic legend down, but they were all meme teams. So
Oh.
so like they put Jedi Master Kenobi down with like Jedi Council members,
Oh.
and but like no cat. But they did have a Ray cat team, but then they didn't have anyone else good with Ray. Like none of them were really competitive teams.
Right.
They were all, and they started the zone with like a bunch of Jawas and stuff. So like clearly they were just all their GLs are down in non-threatening ways. Like they put an all four Luke's team down. Like there were literally teams that have Farm Boy Luke
Mhm.
leading Jedi Master Luke.
Oh dear.
I mean, it's fun, you know. Like to me, it's you know, clearly they're not interested. So like the two easiest fights ever.
Man.
One I
That would
I
be entertaining though to fight. Like I feel like that would
mhm.
be funny because I would just want to see what else they did.
No, it was maybe I'll take screenshots or something. It was fun. Like they made it fun. It wasn't just like a bunch of, you know. I know I've been in guilds before who they're like, man, these guys are so much better than us. We can't possibly win. So we're just gonna place every single galactic legend, and
Hmm.
we're just going to, but we're gonna make it as tough as we can, and they're just gonna hate their lives, and we're just gonna dance away. You know,
Right.
like but that was it's not that's not what they did. Like they made the teams very approachable, but they also made it very clear that they are not going to attack back.
Right.
So I don't
Man.
know. Props to them. Um, yeah, but yeah, you're right. Like otherwise, it's JC, and I know that's not exciting for you.
It's
But I
not.
mean, to me, it's exciting though. Right now, it's the prep time for so much good that's going on in the game. Like set six is on the like I carried one set six or Datacron into this current JC.
Hmm.
And I'm facing someone who has a set six, which means it's gonna have to changing my entire defensive plan.
Right.
Like so set six is here. Afra is here, and half of my pod has her, so there's that to plan around.
Which is not the most fun.
I mean, you're right. It's just like this team I don't have. I'm just gonna get kicked in the teeth at some point with it.
Right.
But frankly, I was gonna get kicked in the teeth by a lot of these guys anyway. So, but then it's also time to prep for territory battles. Like, what are we doing to get ready for territory battles? And
Ooh.
because it's still exciting, it's still like, how do we climb? What are the best teams? Like, what we still don't know everything yet.
Hmm.
And you're actually the perfect person to have to talk to about that. In fact,
Because we are, in fact, continuing to prep for territory battles, even though it's not territory battle week.
yeah. Oh, so
Yeah.
so sorry, I interrupted because I did feel like there's more going on in the game. But what else do we have going on today? What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't go over that. You got a really great trigger photo that just gets like worse and worse the more you look at it.
I know it's like more and more train wreckish
It
as we go continue.
it's like the gift that keeps on giving, but it's the trigger that keeps on triggering.
Yeah, it's wonder. I was like at first I was like, oh, that's like okay. They only have a Gear 11
Don't
uh,
spoil
character that's good.
it.
Okay, like that's not that triggering. And then you just like keep getting sucked in. You're like, oh my gosh, what is this person? Why isn't he going home and rethinking his life?
Yeah. So we've got that. And then there's a character review we'll go over. Um, Viewer questions, which we've got a couple from last week that we didn't hit, and then a couple from this week to add. There's a pack review that we may or may not like, and a roster roast.
We might not like the pack review.
Yeah, we may not like the pack. We may like it. I don't know.
Oh, the pack itself. Okay,
The pack itself.
yeah, I might not like that review. I'm not
Well,
sure.
we'll find out. So yeah, where do you wanna start?
Okay, why don't we start by? Well, first off,
Mhm.
I guess like I don't want this to be like a whole long conversation, but how excited are you that Afra is in the game right now? Like what? I'm just curious because you're not very close to having her, right? Like,
Right.
are you farming the murder bots?
Like slow farming them. Yeah, I'm not doing any refreshes on them. I'm just slowly
Yeah, just
gathering
like
their shards.
yeah. Well, and it helps a little bit right now because we get the packs from the web store and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Um, I mean, she looks cool, but I know I'm like one of her requirements isn't even farmable yet, so there's no point in me getting worked up.
That's
So
fair.
I'm not gonna, and also she's not gonna. be something that I farm, like chase. I guess my question is, so because my thought process was I would finish Jabba,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then after Jabba, I would go back to Lord Vader because I've pivoted away from him about 5 million times now. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's like, do
Uh,
I go after Afra before I go back to Lord Vader, or do I just bite the bullet and go for Lord Vader and then finally go for Afra? I don't know.
that's a really tough question. Like for I've been trying to figure out what I want to do for my alt as well. Like I'm such a mess. That account is such a mess. You're so helpful with it. Thank you. And in return, I'm just like, I'm a mess.
I'm like, what are you doing every time I log in?
Yeah, you're like, wow, your Sith Triumvirate have relics. What? Why do you have relics on the Treya trio? I'm like, I get trigger happy. Like that this is why I can't hoard on this account, is because I just like I see a path, I'm like I could put the Omicron on Treya, and I could get Scion up from gear 10 up to relic 3, and I could get Nihilus up from gear 12 to relic 3. And then I'll get Treya to relic 3 too, because she's only 1.
Mhm.
And then I'll put Omicron's on and Zeta's on, and then I'll have a functional Sith Triumvirate.
Right.
But that all costs me gear that I needed to put on Grand Inquisitor.
I know this.
Yeah. So okay. So what I need you to do, like moving, like, could you please actually spend all of my normal energy on the node that has the red or the gold balls, and I think it's is it bayonets.
Yeah, I know
I
which one you're
forget.
talking about. Nina.
And hollow projectors. Yeah. So we need the gold ball salvage real bad.
Oh man. Okay. I saw it and I was like, man, we're supposed to be going for Grand Inquisitor and getting him to Relic 7.
uh, but hey, I have the Treya trio now, and they're
Yeah.
good. They have the
Yeah.
Omicron. I know I'm a mess. Like that account is just so. I mean, okay, so now I'm back on track, straight and narrow. Grand Inquisitor,
Mhm.
um, and then Jabba, and then who knows? Maybe I'll put more relics on Treya trio in between somewhere. I'll just sneak them on so you don't notice. Um, but yeah, like the question is, okay, I need to get Jabba soon. Like that that's no question, because I
Mhm.
am right now I am severely under. Like my next opponent has 7 GLs to my 2. Like I need another one. Like that is absolutely a requirement. What do I do after that though? Like should I go for Afra? I'm not sure.
Right. That's the thing. I'm like, I don't know. What do you do after?
I don't know. You know, and I guess okay, so I mean that could actually maybe help the guild a little bit though, right? If I went for Afra because of territory battles.
Yeah, it could. Um, I think so. The thing that I have been trying to like point out after we've had this whole territory battle playthrough and everything, um, it is similar to Lightside Geo, but also very different from Lightside Geo. Um, and it truly does feel like I don't know what vibe you got from it, but it truly does feel like the gate is the relic requirement, and then you get in there and you're like, this isn't that bad actually. Like it's not like you're hitting the wall that we felt when we first played Lightside Geo. Um, and because of that, Lightside Geo was more of a puzzle to figure out in terms of what teams to use to get the combat waves so that you could pick up stars and progress really quickly through the map and like constantly be picking up stars.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one feels more like it's going to be a slower pace in terms of progress and improvement. Um, because it really does feel like a lot of it. Well, I shouldn't say it does feel like it is because I've done this several times since we finished it. um, it is a matter of getting characters to relics to finish platoons to pick up the next star.
Right. Well, so I feel like in a way, like it's gonna like we got what 30 stars,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Like I feel like you were saying like, yeah, I think we can maybe get 29. Like 30 is like our stretch goal or something like that. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. Well, I also anticipate, and I think everyone anticipated the battles being a lot harder.
Yeah, they weren't hard. I mean, I didn't get perfect waves, but like
Right.
next time, I feel like it's something that you can plan around now, and you can actually, yeah, get pretty close to perfect every time
Hmm.
for the first three maps at least.
Right.
Yeah, well, you're right, but also on top of that though, there's this converse of yes, we wanted to get as many waves as we can, and they're not as hard. There's also like this lack of pressure because like if you did fail, then you weren't
Hmm.
hurting your guild that much. You know, like
Oh.
that because they're not worth nearly as much as platoons and deployment, etc.
Well, I actually, for one of our phases, we needed to put a Sith Eternal in platoons, and that we were replaying one of the phase. I think it was Geonosis that we were replaying, and I had used my Sith Eternal the day before, and it didn't work for me. I couldn't get it down, and I was like, all right, well, I'll just put mine in because I lost that battle with him anyway. And getting the points on this platoon is more worthwhile than me getting 200,000 points from a combat mission.
Right.
So it was that kind of a adjustment that I think a lot of people are going to start making.
Well, like it's even worth it to do a third platoon, even if you're not going to get a fourth to get the
Right.
bonus because the point bonus is immense.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because it's a huge amount that you're getting. And it goes up every phase.
Okay, so right, it's awesome. All right, so one of the big limiting factors that we had was we don't have the what's it called, the purge, the is that what it the new
The
ship, the
scythe?
ship scythe? Yeah, what did I call
Yeah.
it? The,
You're thinking
um,
Inquisitors, so you're thinking Purge.
oh, okay, just the debuff. Okay, all right. So we didn't have the purge. I'm just gonna call it that now for fun. We didn't have we didn't have that ship for
Right.
platoons, and like there's a lot of different things. Like first off, the combat missions would all be easier, including the special mission for Riva
Hmm.
unlock. There's a ton of people who don't have Grand Inquisitor yet, so they're going to be able to help on a few different other combat missions once they do have him.
Hmm.
There's that like a lot of people, like you said, that were working on some of these like oddball platoons as well. You know, people are working on their Relic 7 low grays and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I feel like so what kind of rapid like it's gonna be a while till we get the ship, the purge. I can't purge it from my memory now.
Oh man.
No,
We've got like roughly a month before we get it. 3 weeks.
right. So once we do though, like what kind of impact will that make on things? Like how do
Oh,
you
it's
expect us to get like seven more stars? I know that's impractical, but that like it's going to be a pretty nice boost though, right?
yeah, I haven't looked at the exact numbers of it, but we will go from only filling one platoon to filling six.
Oh wow, okay.
Like like that's the impact it has.
We'll
Cause
be able to fill all of them then.
yeah, like it's insane.
So CG is just being annoying here by releasing it so late.
Right. So
Maybe they
I
want
mean
us to artificially improve. Like,
I mean, this is a problem that everybody has right now, right? Because no one has that ship. So no one can fill those platoons.
right? I mean, and some guilds, like some of the bigger guilds, don't care. Frankly,
Right.
like I saw a screenshot of one of the bigger guilds who got I think 42 out of 42, like perfect attempts on Riva mission,
Hmm.
and they obviously did it without the ship helping them in
Right.
platoons.
Right.
You know, and there were a few guilds who'd got like so many stars because they just have so much GP that they can just overwhelm it.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So um it's definitely going to make a difference, and it will be interesting, I think, because that's going to really affect how people plan their path and like which way they want to go and what they want to focus on. How many days do you want to spend in the Riva zone to try and get those shards, right? Like,
Right.
so, but I I will say the thing that I'm enjoying is because I've had people say this like, oh, there's no puzzle anymore. Like side T or territory battles is just it's all about rewarding your relic levels, which like I can see that argument because you need the relic levels to get into the combats and into the
Sure.
platoons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a little bit of a puzzle because you need to know what the modifiers are and how they're affecting your team.
Right. Well, it changes, and you also, yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of mystery at least. I mean, eventually we'll get to the point, right, where you can just go to some content creators page and their YouTube channel and just choose the mission, and you're like, okay, I have to have 360 speed on this character so I can outspeed the fastest character,
Right.
and I need to apply ability block here, and then I need to like you get a walkthrough, but we're a long ways off from that. And
Mhm.
also, I mean, if you're like me, I don't like following those guides anyways. I just like figuring it out on my own. Like you can, I actually did enjoy light side territory battles all the way to
Right.
the end because it was just constantly. I don't know. It was always that was always changing though. So
Right.
maybe
But like I've seen so many people say like it's not a puzzle, and then they go in and they fail on Dathomir with C because they didn't read the modifier.
I did that
Or
actually on my main.
well, there you go.
Well, I was real sleepy, and then I didn't get any waves with Sith
Mhm.
Eternal, and then someone else I saw someone post of like don't use Sith Eternal, like use like I
A
forget what
different
lead,
lead,
some other lead like Darth Revan lead, or I forget if that was what it was, but like a
trail
Sith lead,
lead, or
yeah, and I was like, oh, like instantly it clicked, but it didn't immediately come to me. I was just like kind of fuzzy, like, man, he used to be so good in the dark side territory battles. Like, what's going on?
right. But it's like they don't realize what's happening because they haven't read. People aren't reading the modifier, or you know,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
right. Which I mean, fair, but it affects the outcome. But
Absolutely. Hmm.
and eventually, like we will just know. Like we'll know. Okay, this is the team that works here, and this is the team that works here, and you'll just go in and be good to go.
Right. So eventually it'll get boring in a way.
Sure.
So I guess my question would be, do you think CG is going to be able to keep it fresh by doing like the bonus node thing? Or I feel like it's not actually called bonus node. I think I just like picked that up somewhere, but it's something. It's the same principle of
Yeah.
like there'll be zones that they add kind of
Yeah.
as.
I think
Do
so.
you think they're gonna do that?
So
Be
I was
able to?
looking at it. I was looking at it last night, actually, at the map that we have in game and like those gray zones that are not active. And
Hmm.
then at the concept art they showed way back in like the September road ahead. And those gray zones are all like you can see where they are, they're empty in game. Those were all the bonus nodes in their concept art. And it's the exact same map. Um, and the bonus nodes, like not all of them were active, and you could tell that you were going to some of them during certain phases and not others, and all this stuff. And it looked really intriguing when I was looking at the map and trying to figure out what they were trying to do. Because I'm curious if basically the reason why it looked intriguing was one of them, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, had stars on it. So it looks like a case of, do you go for this bonus zone and potentially drop stars on this node that you normally go for, this planet you normally take?
Hmm.
Or do you ignore it? Or do you split stars? Or like depending what I guess what the reward would be, but it looked like it would be an interesting puzzle. Maybe it's more interesting for I guess officers, but
So what if it's actually like what if it's on the third node, for instance, and you have the choice to either go for Riva
mm-hmm.
or you can go like they open it and it's a different character, unlock there.
Well, so that's the
That
thing
way.
is they look like they branch off of the main path. So the main path looks like it's always open, at least from the concept art. It looks like
Okay.
it's always open and you can go there and then also go to the bonus node.
Yeah, I hope that they spice things up a little bit. I think that right now though it's in its exciting phase, and
Mhm.
but the art's nice and the planning is cool. You know, I loved every time I talk to you, you're like, oh yeah, I'm talking to so and so about like a new map, like the new route we can take to get more stars. Because I feel like you were like, yeah, I think we're gonna get like over 20 stars, and I was like, cool, over like 20 is great,
Yeah.
20 is pretty cool, and then. Like the end result was not even in the 20s. We usually got 30, which is awesome,
Hmm.
and that
Well,
just comes from brute planning though on your end.
well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like when we first talked about it, I just like roughly eyeballed the math, and hadn't really mapped it out. And
Right,
then afterwards, I remapped our path, I think 4 times before I landed on 30.
right. Oh, yeah, I thought it was funny because my bigger guild. I mean, we ended up they acquitted themselves really well. We ended up getting like 32 stars, which is actually like a ton of guilds got 30 or 29 or whatever, and like Husky Patrol ended up with 32. It kind of standing alone on
Mhm.
its own, like not as huge as some of the really big guilds, but then also a little bit above like the other guilds who kind of who did well, but yeah, they quitted themselves well. But it was funny because you posted like this huge thing of like, here's what we gotta do, like get ready for this, and it was very informative, very good. And then Husky Patrol, they like posted a thing like an hour before territory battle started, and they were like, just do this, guys. Like it was like a paragraph,
Right.
and I
I
was
had
like,
like a novel.
yeah, and I was like, this doesn't lend confidence. But then they did actually pick like a great route, and we got more stars than I think. Like we got more stars than a lot of people, than a couple guilds who had more GP than us even.
Right.
So like no issues with Husky Patrol and their planning. I just initially I was like, guys, like are we just gonna wing it? I don't know if this is wise.
What's the plan here? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about trigger photo here.
Trigger photo.
I think it's time. Yeah.
It
The
just
time has come.
keeps on going.
So this account here, let me show you guys real quick. I'll make Sarah and my faces disappear. So this is 6.6 million GP account, which is
Mhm.
something I missed for a minute. And then you can see it's sorted by power. So it's 6.6 million. It's a trigger photo, obviously. And there's just so much. Like
Yeah.
at 6.6, I know that I was like one of my very first relics on my new account way back in the day was like I got Darth Vader up immediately.
Right. And Darth Vader here does not get any love.
No love.
I
No
mean, he's
love,
got
but
3 Zetas, so I guess he's got that kind of love, but not.
OG Finn has an Omicron and
Yeah.
relics.
Yeah.
And Cassian just randomly has 3 relics and a Zeta.
Mhm. And
T3 has a
T3
Zeta.
T3 has 2 Zetas.
Yeah.
Ugh, and Fulcrum is relic.
Yep, and Chewbacca is not relict. Grandmaster Yoda's not relict. Thrawn's not relic. But there's no GLs. There's no like high level characters. Bosk, who's the fourth highest power, like that's by GP
Hmm.
character, only has 1 Zeta on him.
Man,
Which it's like he's your fourth best character. Maybe actually do something.
it's because T3 has it.
And Grand Moff Tarkin is both of his at gear
Mhm.
11. Yep.
It is,
Uh,
and then you were saying too, no datacrons. See, this is why I'm wondering if this is because there's not even a journey guide tab on the left.
right, but it's still the new way to display characters, the latest way, so it's not that old.
Right.
So I don't know how old this is, but one way or another, it is a mess. And with that, go to Sarah's channel, folks. And we'll see you in a minute over there.